more kind of consistent supportive role, and she was really doing a lot to create space for the rest of the team, and I love to see that, just kind of giving over to the experience of the rest of the team. So hoping to see a little bit more of that, a little bit more of enabling the rest of the team to, you know, ensure those victories.
I think you gave an absolutely fantastic description on that front, but let's dive into the action. First shot's going to be coming through, but it's going to be from B4 into the windows of apartments. A little bit of a distraction, you may say. Bai is going to be the first one to meet head-to-head with the players down Banana as they go in for the peaks. The headshot comes out, shuts down Goddess, sends them packing, and an instant smoke going to be countering any kind of push that could follow up. Poppins at the forefront of that push as well. Let's get denied, and they're going to be doing an interesting boost here. I do enjoy this. Like you said, they're going to have to set the pace, and this is going to be working out. Nani may well peek around the corner. They back off from it, though. A little bit too early, potentially. Utility is going to be going out. Vi is going to be heavily damaged. Towards that position, does get a couple of shots out towards them. It's going to be Sophia who falls down a little bit too fast. The shots from Coffins come out. None of them really hit Tata as well, trying to hit those shots. Bomb goes down with very little contestation, comparably. Picks up a new weapon over towards spawn. Vi in a difficult spot. She knows that there's a couple of players right next to her. Her teammate's going to be taking a couple of shots, but Poppins going to be jumping on round. Gets the kill. The flicks with the upgraded pistol with the P250. Gets one. Find another one, though. Could have been a difficult spot in towards Bit. Has to hit these shots, but unfortunately can't quite manage to do so. And B4 Esports turn it around from that initial kill.
Right, so this is what I was a little bit concerned about. Giving over a little bit too much respect. Endgame had control of B. There was a little bit of pressure, and instantly they back off. They give up the site completely. Now, bearing in mind, of course, you are at a numbers disadvantage, but waiting for Tata to go all the way back towards the spawn to pick up the upgrade, they give so much space for B4 to set up into their positions. And sure, you're kind of thinking, well, with a slightly better gun, you know, maybe you've got an opportunity, but you know, how it actually pans out is it doesn't really work out in their favor. So a bit of a rough one there. And of course, that's going to be B4 winning that very first round, forcing up, spending quite a bit of cash into this one. But I mean, they know that they can afford to. Endgame are going to have no cash. They're actually playing with fire a little bit here, bringing out that scout so early on. If they don't win out this round, then again, you know, economy in a bit of a tight spot.
It's on Nami as well, which is always interesting. I mean, this kind of happens. The scout doesn't necessarily go into the AWP player. Vi does miss those initial shots. Sophia's going to be in a difficult spot herself. Nani peeking around the corner. It should just obliterate the opposition. Does exactly that. Does lose a lot of HP. The scout does land a shot. Gets a kill. And actually slows him down a couple of seconds. And the scout comes out, gets another tag. Every one of these shots is so crucial. Goddess is going to be on 1 HP. Poppins is going to be on low as well. These spams could turn into kills fairly easily. You can see, though, Vi in towards Coffins. This is very reminiscent of that first round. Slightly looking better, though, in all honesty. But these ZKs are going to be in a huge advantage for the opposition. That scout has been picked up. I don't know if you're going to really want to play with it. And they are going to be looking to back away from this one, potentially try to save the armor, some of the util, the upgraded pistols, and go into the next round.
Lot of respect given over to B4. You got to put some respect on the name, and I think possibly a little bit of nerves coming out of that previous map. Didn't quite go the way that they'd expected. It was their own map pick. They were hoping that they could get a win on it. Now it feels like they're getting a little bit too nervous. I will say, ooh, oopsie goddess. That's unlucky. I will say that I don't hate the idea of the attempt at a save here. I think that is just the right amount of respect. They could have pushed in and lost everything, but instead they try and make sure that they can go into the next round with something. And again, because they went with that kind of risky spend in the previous round, they have to hold on to as much as they possibly can. So an attempt was made, but again, they're giving over a lot of space to B4 completely for free, and something's got to give here.
They're going to be able to play a little bit more risky and aggressive with this one, and they're going to want to try and do as much damage to the economy as possible against the side of B4 Esports. Goddess obviously did die a lot the previous round. That's a little bit of a disappointment. The flicks, doing what she does best, hits the headshots, picks up the Mac 10, and now they're going to be able to back off. She probably wants to actually drop that over towards her teammate Tata, who has more HP. There you go, you can see it in the hands of her now. And she actually has some armor, so that's fantastic. And that could be the turn of tide. I'll have to wait and see. They're actually going over towards long. And they may well get sandwiched if they're not lucky. They're unlucky here. They might find themselves sandwiched between the two sets of forces here, as we do see a heavy rotation. But the footsteps could give them away, and that might just be round over if they're not careful. Goddess going to be peeking on through. Library going to be shut off. Sophia's going to be turning around. One kill does come out. Poppins going to be falling to the wayside. Goddess. That's in the little cubby at the moment. Scout going to be taking a little bit of a peek over towards the shot, trying to help out the players. Does spot one, misses a shot. 4 versus 2. Actually, how's that happen? The Mac 10 doing massive work. Younger going to get attacked down to 28. Left in towards pit. Bomb is down there as well. They now have to go in for the rotation on it. The headshot comes out. Now it is looking good again here for B4 Esports. I was worried. Less so now. They're in a strong position, and they should just be able to take this one home, Sam.
Yeah, I think that got a little too close for comfort. B4, I think, were sure that they still had control for the vast majority of that round, obviously having the far superior weaponry. But it did get a little bit dicey towards the end there. And of course, the last couple of players on Endgame rather, not Endpoint, wrong team, chunked down to very low HP. So it was going to be a tough ask for them to try to re-engage into that one. Now, however, Endgame are at least able to get a buyout. And this is going to be an important round for them. Again, talk about the momentum. And it's not just the momentum of having won a few rounds and what that does to your mental, but the momentum of the economy and how that builds up. So for Endgame here, this is going to be a good potential momentum shifter. But again, just taking so much early damage.
I mean, you're able to get that trade-off, but honestly, the advantage is going to be going over to the side of B4 Esports. I mean, they're T's. They can play fantastically well with 4 players, but I mean, if you're CT, you're now going to have to be stressed and pressed across these different angles with only 4 players. It's going to be a lot harder to hold, and when you've got Julia just lurking in towards these apartments, going to take initial shots. Does a tiny bit of damage, if I'm right in saying. Maybe actually hadn't landed that onto Nami, as that was a play over towards B. She's going to be in the smoke. Gets the shot through it. Has no chill. Takes down Poppins. Smoke goes out as well. Going to be counter this aggression. They're now going to need to go in for this rotation. But unfortunately for them, Vi, she's going to make quick work of Nani. Younger's going to be trying to follow it up, and they have to follow through with this aggression now. They can't really back off from it if they want to have a chance of being able to take over a site now. Unless some miracle happens here. So we slow down for a couple of seconds. It was looking very speedy there over towards the A site, but it's being reversed. Flash comes out, and Nami holding over towards Tree. She goes for the spray. Falls a little bit short, and they know that she was not the player who was initially here. So they're going to be molly in the back of sight. And I said some kind of miracle needs to happen, but no, it's just pure skill here. They knew how to shut down this site. Continuing grenade does go down, but it's a little bit too slow. Julia, 8 HP. It's going to be a little bit damaging, but there's no nades on the opposition side. Because with AWP, not the most ideal weapon to be using in this kind of retake situation, but it's going to have to work. Like I said, Younger, one of the best players on the server right now, is unfortunately going to get cut apart. 2 players push in, and they could have gone on for the trade, but they didn't even need to. They shut them down. They get the first round on the board.
That was looking a little bit dicey for Endgame. I think that what we're realizing here is that the A site could potentially be a weak spot for B4, for the C side, right? They attempt the B hit, and the brackets control. Endgame just do a really good job of shutting down any sort of attempt to push in that way. They force a rotation to come through. By that point, they've already got a little bit of an advantage, and they're quite quick to react as well. So start to rotate over themselves. When it comes down to that 2 versus 2, that's when I start to get a little bit worried. And honestly, I was concerned as to how Endgame were going to approach that, but they do manage to swing together quite nicely and maintain a good control. So a very important round for them. We said it, it was very likely going to be that momentum shifting round to try and bring things back in their favor. And it has somewhat broken B4's economy as well. So there's a good opportunity to create a runaway here.
Oh, they are going to get pushed hard here. The stress is going to be on them, but Nami peeks around the corner, gets the kill when she definitely shouldn't have. Poppins gets a trade-off in towards the pit player, but now they're going to be pushing aggressive with the Mac 10, and they clean them up. Last 2 players, nowhere to be seen. All the way over towards B's site. Unfortunate for them, they weren't quite quick enough, and can't really blame them for this front because the A site was dropped and lost super quickly. 2 players left, and I mean, that Molotov is going to do a decent amount of damage and force a little bit of an awkward push here instead of what they had originally wanted. The kill does come out, though. Younger drops. Potentially should have been able to stay alive there. Goddess and Nani on site. Nani, with that MAC-10, is in a fantastic position to try and defend this. Up close and personal with the MAC-10 is exactly where you want to be. Goddess, on the other hand, is going to be taking the head off Vi. Last player left alive is going to be Sophia, who unfortunately just, crouched and sat there and had some bullets headed her way.
That was a wild one, bearing in mind, of course, that was a very broken buy from B4. But Endgame, instead of taking I'm not going to say an aggressive B hold towards brackets, because, I mean, that's by no means aggressive. It's kind of the median. And they rather take a far more passive hold, sorry, not B on A, and B4 just kind of run it down. You know, they didn't really need to use too much of their utility to give themselves space to push through, because Endgame left it entirely open. Now they're not doing that. Now Endgame, again, taking a slightly more strong position towards the A site, but possibly too little too late as Endgame back down onto a pistol.
It's not looking so good. Losing that following round, just a little bit disappointing. Not being able to take through any kind of rifles into this round. We just saw the A side get collapsed on completely. Lata picks up one towards Poppins, who seems to be the main target for these pistols in the last couple of rounds. Nami gonna be looking to do her best as well. We've got 2 Deagles left over. Goddess be looking to swing out. Should be able to spot it out, but the headshot comes through. Goddess is really having a bad time. Her and Poppins. People having their heads popped here by these pistols or rifles.
Yeah, shame. They really are being bullied a little bit. But that is what happens when you play tip of the spear. You tend to bear the brunt of enemy team aggression. So unfortunately, yes, their stats are looking padded in the wrong way. But you know what? Again, it's all about supporting the rest of your team. And the only thing that matters is that they're creating the space and B4 consistently winning the rounds. Now Endgame able to buy it again. And again, it's an important one. Fix taking a strong angle. Oh, and it's beautiful. Goddess completely wiped off the board. Once again, tip of the spear. Completely broken off.
Every time. Every time. Well, you know, fight off too much. You're not going to be able to chew it. But Nani does go down as well. Fantastic kills here from the side of Endgame. This is kind of what I was wanting to talk about and trying to get them to focus on, is they need to get these initial kills, get the advantage, but actually, stay alive with their players, because as soon as you get a trade-off and it's just a one-to-one trade, you're at a big disadvantage potentially on the side of Endgame. But Poppin's going to be pushing through. Like I said, tip of the spear. Going to be able to live for a little bit longer, but the players over towards B have backed off. A little bit of a incendiary to try and slow them down. It's a good use of utility here. You can see this team are trying to back off now, unsure as to where exactly they want to go. Up mid A, that could work for them, but they have faced some trouble on this front. They should probably know they've managed to damage at least one of the players, but trying to figure out where that player is, no idea. Smoke over towards library. Now allow potential push up in towards that long position. It doesn't seem like anyone's doing it. It's a bit of a bait smoke on that front. So the Flix is now going to be holding the angle, and it is absolutely perfect. But will she hold it in time? Or is she going to turn her away? The flash comes out. Absolutely perfect time, and they both drop down into this pit. It's going to be a one-on-one trade. Unfortunately, not in favor of Poppins. She does eventually pick up the second kill. It cleans the site. The bomb can now go down. Smoke over towards long. 8 seconds left on the clock. They have to go in for the plant. Younger backs off site. Nami and Co. going to be looking to go in for the aggressive push. The incendiary grenade too slow. Needs be a little bit faster in this run than that grenade. Does a chunk of damage, but not as much as the AK. Poppins looking to pop off here. Actually picks up the final 2 kills, and that is going to be a 4-piece for this youngster.
Well, I had said at the start, not necessarily a player that has those star standout performances, but a good supportive backbone. In this round, she does incredibly well to just maintain control, and it was definitely needed, I think, to kind of further break Endgame's economy. They don't really want to allow Endgame an entryway back into this. And I was a little disappointed because that was a round that started off really well for Endgame, and you'd kind of said it. They hadn't really had the best success on that A site, and somehow 3 versus 5, okay, the A site was relatively unguarded, but they still come out on top of it really, really strongly. Endgame, I don't know, they're just struggling again to just deal with the pressure from B4.
Well, pressure's going to be on once again. The Eagles are going to have to try and breathe the answer, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. They got torn asunder. the side giving up, and well, we said they needed to set the pace, and unfortunately, this is going to be the 7th round on the board here for the side of B4 Esports, unless Tala somehow pulls some kind of miracle out the bag. But we all know that's not going to happen. She's stuck in boiler, in a very hot place, and gets taken down. Poppins going to be able to get another kill. 10-4 on the board for her, looking absolutely fantastic. And if you are just joining us, Poppins is finally being able to join this roster. She was too young to join the previous season, but this time she has come in and she has brought a lot of firepower with her. And obviously this is Endgame versus B4 Esports for the Season 2 of Impact South American.
And I have to wonder if one of the reasons that she had a slightly quieter performance on Vertigo was just due to the fact that it was Vertigo. And she is a newer player in the more professional scene. That could be a contributing factor. Now that we're on a map that she would definitely be familiar with, she's doing a lot better. And, well, we got the double ops from End, and one of them pays off dividends. I mean, this match, or this round kind of popped off, didn't it?
For sure, this is kind of what we want to see, the kind of trade, and they may well have lost vibe at the same time. Being able to take down Julia and Poppins being the one of the more effective players, potentially not the most, even with her obviously having 10 kills, it doesn't really mean all the same without watching the gameplay behind it. Younger, on the other hand, she popped off last game. Did she end on 28 kills, was it? Or 25? I can't quite recall, but definitely really good either way. So if she looks away at the wrong time, because these players are more than likely going to be pushing, reposition, and realizing that could come from that CT position, but there is no one there. They're going to go headstrong into this position. We've seen them do this so methodically before, and they're going to be doing it again. The shots are hit. Nami and Ko, it's going to be Sophia picking up the kills, just wiping the table with them. They have no respect. They have no cares in the world, and that's going to be an almost team ace, but Vi is the only one to miss out.
Ooh, that started off, so obviously B4 get that first opening AWP kill and start to wonder, how's this going to handle? I did like the double AWP setup. I think that it gave them a modicum of control that they didn't necessarily have prior. Now they're able to kind of hold down angles that little bit better. I always talk about how the presence of an AWP can very often be just as powerful as actually hitting the shots, right? You hear an AWP and you're like, let's back out. This is not backing out, though. This is some serious aggression. Immediate trades, though, but Endgame looking to take some of that map control they've been lacking.
Yeah, I mean, when you're not backed up in mid by a fellow teammate and you just play super aggressive down mid, you're in a whole heap of trouble. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened. Nani was like, have you guys got second mid? Sick. All right, cool. I'm just going to be pushing up mid then. I'll take the risk. And that's exactly what happened. They've seen Sophia over towards B before, and that's exactly where she was and where she will stay. Whether or not she'll stay alive, we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, for those of you that are just joining us, yes, this isn't on HLTV. This it should be getting updated on Wikipedia at least every so often. Otherwise, you can go on ESEA on these team profiles. These are South American teams, absolutely fantastic organizations behind them and other teams. But otherwise, just go and follow the DreamHack account. Lots of stuff is posted on here. There's also a Lucy one, but we are going to be seeing a little bit of a fight. Sophia does go down, but like I was saying, Lucy, one of the casters here, has actually got a blog and breaks everything down. Yeah. So hopefully we can get that link in chat. It's absolutely fantastic. I use it as a resource myself because she honestly knows so much more than me.
Yeah, I think it's Lucy's Peak or something like that.
Yeah.
Check that one out. Also on the ESL website. So if you want to learn a little bit more about these teams, we're 2 episodes in, and she's already broken down some of the more interesting storylines, kind of scratching the surface. I think she's going to go a little bit more in depth as the series continues. But it's been, as you said, a really good resource, especially if you're not too familiar with the scene. So Endgame, hero rifle, not much else. And staring down the barrel of a double digit soon.
We could be seeing that. They do manage to get a trade off. The Flicks does pick up one, does back off, picks up the M4, switches on over to it, but can't quite land the shot. But Sophia definitely can, but Younger is going to be going in for the trade. Eagle in hand. Dream is wanted, and the moment they're trying to work out what to do. There is an M4 potentially recoverable here for Nami, but the question is, do you go for it? It's deep in apartments. And honestly, at this point, they have zero knowledge as to where these players are. It's like, okay, yeah, last seen, banana, or mid. That's about it.
Somewhere else on the map.
There's somewhere on the map, okay? That's what we know. Sophia has got an AK, though. I didn't quite see that.
Oh, this is a good call for B4. Just to, like, headed down towards B. This could be perfect.
There's actually a Molotov picked up by Younger. B4, they're just going to be making their way over towards B. Completely open sight. This has to be a bit of a GG on this round. Go pick up an extra rifle and just potentially save. Unless you're able to get an initial kill and pick through the smoke. The bomb hasn't gone down yet. Molotov is thrown. That gives away that position. The grenade goes down. Does a chunk of damage. If only they were already tagged down. I could have done something more, but we have to wait a moment. Flash does go out. Sophia needs to wait for her teammate. Heard a footstep there. Knows that someone's gone CT. That is fantastic information, but Younger holding that angle cleanly. Gets the kill. Now they have an idea as to where this player is. And unfortunately, Nami, that Molotov is going to be blocking them out. And I mean, just keep in mind, I think it was Younger picked up that Molotov from down Banana. Didn't even have it initially.
Yeah. And without a kit, I mean, you could possibly wait out the molly if you had a kit. Although in a 1v2, even then, you know, it's just a tough situation to be in. And it's kind of rough for Endgame. Unlucky Julie, you'll be remembered. Because this is the side that we were kind of hoping they'd get a few more results on, that they might have a little bit better control of. B4 just seems to be running circles around them, round after round, right? They swap up. Why did we replay that?
Toxic.
Man, that's BM. Anyway, they swap up a lot of their approaches from round to round, and it does seem to kind of keep Endgame on their toes. They're never quite sure where to plant that bit of utility that they do have, and even when they do, 9 times out of 10, B4 just able to survive it.
Kill's going to be coming out, but this aggressive push is not going to be working out in their favor, as they're just going to be falling like flies. And we've got Nami and well, the Flicks, last 2 players are left alive, and they've got 0 control here. Shot should come out from Younger. She does do a decent amount of damage. Follows up with the headshot. Controlled bursts, trying to make sure she leaves the head exposed as little as possible. The Flick's going to be coming up from the bottom of mid. Position well documented. Cool, calm, collected. That's Nani in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she's been a really good force for B4, right? I mean, she was something that you'd kind of pointed out on Vertigo. Not necessarily that top fragger, but again, just more consistent than anything else, right? So might not be getting all of the kills, but the ones that she does get tend to be pretty important ones, pretty impactful ones. But in this particular map, again, I mean, she's doing incredibly well, maintaining, keeping up with the rest of the team. So it's not just getting impactful kills, but it's also keeping those numbers up. Now Endgame are in a very difficult spot because, well, pistols. We're not really expecting too much to come out of this one. If they're able to save the AWP, that in and of itself would be a miracle. But we're getting closer and closer to the half. We're already round 13. And Endgame have still only managed to pick up 2 rounds. Like,
yeah, this is... Oh, apparently if you close your eyes and take some shots, you get some more Deagle headshots. Somehow rhymed. But there are 3 players still left alive on here. 2 of them down Banana, 1 on site. There is some possibilities with this. We do see an AWP and AK in hands, plus another AK on Nami, but they're going to get shut down, imagine, by Poppins as they try to enter onto the site, and Nani as well. There you go. It's absolutely obliterated. I'm not quite sure what Tata thought she was doing there. It was like, okay, well, there's a bomb. I'm gonna walk on over to it, and I'm gonna be able to defuse it, right? No one's gonna contest me on it.
Nothing to lose, I suppose.
Yeah.
As I said, if they did manage to take the AWP, it would have been a miracle. Unfortunately, not to be. Thankfully, they are able to at least buy in here. Ooh, and I'm seeing signs of a double AWP again. Now, they had slightly kind of better looks when they had that double AWP. I was kind of talking, and I was trying to talk about it, but I got rudely interrupted by action. But very often just the threat of an AWP. You hear the sound, you hear the scope, whatever the case may be, and you instantly don't want to go to that site, or you know that you need to play a little bit slower. So when there's an AWP on both sites, it tends to make you kind of slow down a little bit, and a nice little opening kill, well, that'll definitely cause you to slow down.
A bit of miscommunication there. 2 smokes down in towards that mid position. If you're the Flicks, you kind of want to let your teammates do that. You're the AWP player. Or at least communicate that you're going to be chucking it yourself, which would be fine. Tata, please, you know, back off from that front. The flash does come out from a teammate. Fantastic communication there. Obbin's going to be looking to play aggressive around this corner. Flash is going to be coming through, but the spray shuts them down. Tata eats the ground. And we slow down again for a couple of seconds. Keep in mind, 2 rounds on the board. This is very familiar to the game that we cast last night for the NA region for CLG Red. Oh, good shot there, the flicks. Taking down Goddess, the other AWP as well, taking down Nani. This is going to leave 2 players, Poppins and Julia. Questioning if they're going to be able to take this 12th round and really show who's boss. Versus the side of Endgame. And I mean, you know what? If anyone could do it, it's definitely one of this team of B4. They've been showing up beautifully here. Now they can play aggressive over towards A long. If they can get a kill over towards A long, that could mean that rotation over towards B is open. So we're just going to be waiting. I mean, Vi is just there, ready and waiting at the moment. Nami over towards Pit. Flash is going to be coming out. Execution is now going to be coming into play. They have to find this first kill. They do exactly that, but the follower comes up from the flicks. She has to find this close up in person one. She gets it. It's a no-scope. She shuts them down. 3rd round on the board, but is it too little too late, Sam?
Oh, probably. Let's face it. With this being their CT side, they needed a lot more done on this half. Thankfully, they've still got a bit of power into this next one. You know, it's what I was saying, right? Having that double AWP, it's really where they seem to shine that little bit brighter than what they do, you know, when they only have the one. It is a bit of a rough one to feel like you need to rely on being able to hold 2 AWPs because, of course, you know that economically that's just not always viable. But hopefully if they can string a couple more rounds together here, I say here, like not in this half. It's going to happen in the next half. If at the very least they can get this round, maybe?
3 HP. Julia is... Oh, man, she's a lucky ducky. That is unfortunate for the opposition. And they're just going to push and get the kill, even with...
no way.
Oh,
no shot.
I love that toxicity, that BM right there, putting down the dollar spray. I love it. More of that, please. Thank you, Julia. Great. We see that mainly in Dota 2. We don't really see too much of that in CSGO. It's like more of it would be great. The Flicks is going to have to stay alive, but it's going to be actually over towards the B side. They're going to be able to get a double kill. And this is looking very familiar. But Poppins, like chat have been saying, she's been popping off. She's on 18-9 at the moment. She is she's doing fairly wonderful in this game, especially as one of the more inexperienced players on her team. A lot of grit about her. See, let's push over towards B. It's going to be interesting. They do have an AWP in hand, and they do have younger Sophia. Going to be in a spot of trouble if she's not careful. 25 seconds left on the clock here, chat. Molotov is going to be used. They heard the scope, so they know whereabouts that she is. Smoking towards that CT position. They're now going to be going in for the push. Vi has a smoke of her own, but it's not going to be able to use it in time to any kind of effect. Peeking around this corner, they're going to lose their life. Sophia takes care of them, and Vi. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, to the ESL stream for the ESL IMPACT League Season 2 South America. These are the qualifiers. We have B4 Esports versus Endgame on Inferno. This is the second map. B4 Esports took Vertigo, which was Endgame's map, in a fairly convincing manner.
Yeah, what really concerns me is, so I spoke about how Vertigo really was Endgame's map. It was their map pick. It's the map that I associate with this team the most. And here we're seeing why. They were able to build all the way up to 10 rounds on that map. Here on Inferno, it's just been so difficult for them to make, you know, any sort of headway. Now these pistol rounds, or this pistol round, let me rather say, is going to be make or break. If they lose this pistol, it's probably GG.
Let's get these Julies in chat. Poppins, one player we're going to be watching out for. It's going to be Xbox Galore, picks up 2. Bye-bye. Going to shut her down. Juliet looks away from the flash just in time. Her teammate's going to be backing her up. They're going to get tagged down slightly. Got it. It's almost team kill there. I think she quite realizes how close she was to getting a team kill there. Her teammate is going to fall down nonetheless. She's going to have to back off over towards the ruins. Coffins has been given up, but the headshot comes in hard and fast. Nami doesn't go down. Vi going to be close up to these players. The block does take down one, but the trade could easily come through. Nope. They get the kill. It's going to be Nani, last player left alive. And somehow that was... Can we get a replay on that, please? How did that happen? That was a wall-bang headshot on her own teammate.
Just the whole round. Just, you know, just to have that again. Because that was certainly an interesting one. All right, let's take a look at this. So this is obviously the dualies. Poppins, you know what they say? 2 guns are better than 1. Oh, we didn't get to see it. Unlucky. Well, that was, you know, Endgame kind of needed that pistol round just to keep them in it. And again, we're seeing them kind of take a fairly risky buy here. And it has to pay off. Oh, no, there's a shotgun.
Yep, doesn't matter.
Here, it's fine. Ooh.
Shut down. Yeah, that was the 5.7 in hand, if I'm right in saying. But yeah, Nani going to be chucking off the incendiary grenade. It's going to be Nami up close and personal with the Mac 10. Gets the kill. They do lose a little bit of HP, but it doesn't really matter. And now they're going to be able to get the bomb planted, and this should be a secured round for them. I mean, the Nova is a solid sniper, you know, to use. I say sniper because that's how I used to use it. It has been changed and nerfed in the years, but yeah. So Younger and co, they're going to try and stay alive, and this is very familiar to the first half, but mirror.
Oh.
Aside from that.
Yep, sometimes playing Duck Hunt backfires. Okay, Endgame. This is good. They do lose one gun, but it's not the end of the world. Now, of course, they're going to want to hold on to the rest of their weapons, right? Play the smart move. Don't try and kind of push out, try and get some exits or anything like that. Rather hold on to what you have available. You want to make sure you've got a strong bonus into the next round. You don't want to have to spend too much. So just losing one player, not the end of the world. Now for B4, obviously they're going to be in a very, very tight spot here. They were able to keep a few of their guns, but the rest of the team pretty much going to be staying on pistols because they can't really afford to do much more than that. So Endgame, again, still in that massive advantageous position. If they win this round, they should be able to buy in quite nicely into the next. So the next round is going to be the real question mark as to whether or not Endgame can bring themselves back in.
We'll have to wait and see. Poppin's going to be charging down that banana position. Gets the kill. That is going to be an upgrade to their weapons potentially here. It's going to be the shotgun on Julia, just spamming it through that smoke. It's going to be another kill with the Molotov. What is going on? They're going to be absolutely torn apart. By the way, before we entered into this, when we were on break, I meant 6, not 5, because I got the round count wrong. How many rounds they had before going into this.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, well... you shut your mouth. They've got 2 AKs, but their health combined doesn't even go over that of 50, so it's going to be difficult. The USB in hand for Nani could be the end of them, but it's going to be Poppins instead. She's going to be looking to pop off. Oh, it's Nani who stole that kill in the end. Oh, if you're Poppins, you're going to be annoyed. You can see the like smirk on Poppins' face there. She's sitting comfortably on 25 kills at the moment. Absolute nuts.
I do enjoy those cheeky little smirks that we get from time to time. This was a wild round for B4. Again, it was one of those rounds where they have a really low buy, so they take an aggressive approach, and Endgame not expecting that at all. They were expecting to put a little bit of pressure down Banana, take control, get in onto the site, easy. No. Instead, B4 completely push out, bring the round to them, and now Endgame, in what should have been a good buy round for them, they have 2 players on Deagles, and B4 are well into the double digits. If they win this round, and bearing in mind, as we can see there, Younger has the AWP in her hands, so there's that extra little bit of firepower available. If they win this round, then it's essentially a snowball. Endgame's economy is completely broken, so they're getting themselves to 14, and then you're just about on match point. You know, like, the snowball is real.
Oh, they're going to have to go for this push, and they're going to get shut down. That is unfortunate. In that Molotov is going to do a decent amount of damage, stop them from going in for that push around that corner, which means they'd have to go for a tight one. But you know what? Sophia from Apartments, he's going to be able to get the first initial one. This AWD, though, on Younger. Oh, misses the opportunity. That is potentially damage for them. If she's not careful, she's going to have to peek into it, but the smoke's now there, denying this position. Tartar does fool Nani. Cool, calm, and collected player. Looking to try and take them off. Poppins as well, player to keep in mind when you're watching this. Rotation does come back through. 3 players left, and they do have a decent amount of utility, so flashing out towards Pit is honestly going to be one of the best ones, but the flash missed, and they're going to get shot down, but Vi does get a nice trade-off. There's going to be a player deep on site. She has been spotted, but it doesn't matter. Poppins makes quick work of one of the players before getting traded out, and Nani is there to clean it up. Wow, what a round.
So this is pretty much the situation that I was concerned about. Endgame economy completely in the drink. So unless they have one of those like unbelievably ridiculous pistol rounds where, you know, they go complete, like, balls to the walls, rush out, get some crazy kills early on, and somehow manage to secure themselves around. If that doesn't happen, it's 14 rounds for B4, and we're so close to that GG scenario. And the attempted rush comes in, but it's just util. It's just pure util, Tom. No, exactly what we did.
That wouldn't have been an ace anyway. Goddess would take him one with the nade, so they do lose one. But, you know, that got shut down about as fast as Benikej's raid into this stream got shut down as well. RIP. Got banned. They are back though. All right, cool. So 14-6, endgame. They really have to bring their A game, not just the end game here. They've got AKs in hand, Sam. They play fast and loose in a couple of rounds. Hasn't worked for them. What am I meant to do?
Win, lol.
Lol. Lol W. Just win. Forehead.
Yeah. I mean, this is...
Oh, they get shut down. We can't even see it, but they're just going to be absolutely destroyed here. One after another. That's going to be Sophia and Nami. Two of the high hitters on their team. Actually, the two highest hitters, along with Low Flicks, going down and out for the count. And, I mean, I said to you, like, it's going to be all down to if B4 get this control over towards Banana. I mean, I was very worried for, like, sort of endgame and what they're going to be able to accomplish. And so far, they've done a decent job at it. We saw it obviously last round on the eco round. They shut that down very easily. There was no real access point on over. And this time you can see there is pressure here. There's going to be a flash going to be going out, but that initial damage is going to give away her position. The spray comes through. That could be, you know, changing the tides here as the rotation now has to come through. Grenade going to be doing a tiny bit of damage. Fly going to be down to 28 HP. It's going to be Nani peeking out. That flash working fantastically. B4 are just working in tandem. They've got that communication. They know how to play with one another. And now they're just going to get shut down. This is very methodical. Afflicts going to be left in a 1v4. Can she pull it off? It's not impossible, but 30 seconds left on clock. She peeks in. And Nani is just like, nah, just hit the floor.
Oh no. Endgame. And this truly is endgame. Match point, match and series point, in fact. Endgame have to force up. And let's face it, there's really not much that they can force into. That round was so important. And unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. And the thing is, B4, they've done really well at predicting economy. So if they predict that it's a eco round, they're going to throw out util. They're going to make sure endgame take a ton of early damage. They're going to shoot you if you peek dry. And that's probably it, Tom.
A little bit unfortunate. They're just getting shut down. I mean, nice try, endgame. I'll give them that. But they've got a lot they need to work on. B4 come into this. They've got a new player into the season. They've got a lot of stuff they need to work on themselves. Don't get me wrong. But they won first go, which was not their map pick. It was a very hard map for them to be able to try and do so well on. But they absolutely smashed it. But not as much as they did on this one. They came into this one. And that communication between them